and thanks for tuning in to another edition of The One Take, an interview series produced by WERC. My name is Ann Truett, and I'm chair of the WERC Public Policy Forum. With us today is Marius Tollenaere, a colleague and partner in our Fragoman Frankfurt office. He's been closely monitoring the outcome of the recent election in Germany and what it means for immigration and talent mobility professionals. So Marius, welcome and thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Anne. Thank you for having me.
So with 71 elections that have been happening around the globe, we've been seeing significant changes to immigration systems. Some are going online. There's a great deal of digitization happening within their processes. We all acknowledge there's a tremendous emphasis on compliance and enforcement. And on the other hand, systems in countries are opening up new pathways for skilled talent. So specifically for Germany, where are we in terms of immigration?
Thank you, Anne. Germany, we have seen the elections, the federal parliament elections, which have taken place on the 23rd of February of this year. So we are now at the stage where the parties try to get together and build a coalition. The two parties which have agreed on discussing a potential coalition are the Conservatives, the CDU, and the Social Democrats, the SPD. They together would come to a majority, which is necessary then to elect a chancellor and to build a new government. Immigration has, I think one can fairly say, been one, if not the most important topic of the election campaign. Obviously, of course, it was also about the economy. It was about security and defense, but immigration was a key factor in the election. And this has many aspects. Many of them go also into immigration security and humanitarian migration, but the overall topic has been very much to the forefront of the campaign. And so now with the Conservatives and the Social Democrats trying to get together to start discussing a coalition. We're not quite there yet that we are speaking about them already doing it and forming a government. They're in the beginnings of discussing if they could come together. It's a bit of a multi-step process, and there's lots of unclarity at the moment. It may still fail. It's still an option that there may be even new elections, but let's assume let's go with the most likely process that the CDU and SPD will come together and build the government. They have already put out a preliminary memo, which kind of forms the common ground of their understanding of all types of policies, including immigration. And what we can see is that, yes, even though they had somewhat different positions during the election campaign, they have come to an agreement. And this goes into immigration, goes into citizenship, it goes into humanitarian migration, security. But all of these points have now been initially addressed, not yet fully hammered out, but initially addressed. And they already show some kind of direction where this may be going. And of course, I'm happy to share further insights into what these changes or where their policies are going.
Yeah, thank you, Marius, for that. Recognizing, right, that we're still in a state of play right now with respect to formation of the coalition, and certainly, you know, kind of outlining some specifics with respect to immigration change. You know, can you forecast perhaps what changes can we expect with respect to work permit, visa categories, and the new processes that are associated with those?
So the outgoing government, the Chancellor Scholz government had made a quite significant reform to work permit categories. It was called the Skilled Migration Act 2.0, which came into force 2023, 2024, and it introduced a lot of new and interesting work permit categories, especially experience-based work permit categories, as well as a points-based system for a job search permit for 1 year. And since the most important party of the last government was the Social Democrats, which now become the small partners of the conservatives in the likely new government, they are interested in keeping and promoting their reform, which has just gone through. That matches the interest of the conservatives to not change that much. So what we'll see in the work permit categories, as we have the blue card, ICT permits, experience-based permits, also the best friends regulation for citizens of countries like the US or Canada. We're not going to see major changes there. So, but that's also an important update. There's going to be stability in the work permit categories. One small exception is a specific a specific permit for the countries of the Western Balkans. There's a quota at 50,000 at the moment. They intend to reduce it to 25,000. But other than that, they have not come forward with material changes to the visa categories. More importantly, we are very likely to see changes in the administrative processing of work permissions and permits. It is considered to be spread via too many authorities. It's considered to be intransparent and especially too lengthy. And there's huge drive now to centralize and digitize the process further. There's already ongoing a lot of digitalization efforts from the Foreign Office, from the Labor Department with the work permission filing. And what's likely to happen is that they will combine those authorities into one larger bit. They call it a work and stay agency. The interesting bit is, and I'm happy about that, they don't intend to form a new physical administration or authority. They rather speak about a digital agency. So what we believe and hope is they will just design a commonly used and easy to use front end for the user. So the individual applicant, the immigrant, the prospective immigrant, or hopefully also the employer, to feed in information and to file applications, rather than doing yet another big change in the administrative structure. So this is where we are going, and basically the administrative change is the most important one, where we really hope we can speed things up and make them more transparent.
Yeah, businesses certainly would welcome the streamlining, part of that. They also appreciate stability and predictability. So what do you think we'll see with respect to changes in citizenship law and even border policy?
Yeah, this was a big debate because the conservatives went into the campaign saying we want to repeal the recent change of allowing dual citizenship. So since dual citizenship had been allowed by the previous government, we have seen a huge uptake in applications for naturalization. This has always been the big thing. You come, or your parents even come from Turkey, from Russia, from the US, and you live in Germany, you would have had to give up your original citizenship in order to become a German citizen. Again, a system which had lots of exceptions already, which made it kind of unjust already in the old state, and the old government got rid of it, saying, okay, we fully allow dual citizenship. And they also brought down the residency time from 8 to 5 years. And the conservatives wanted to change that because they found it too non-conservative as an approach. But I kind of was already sure this is more a bargaining chip than a really hard position. And now it turns out they're fine with the changes and they will keep them as they are. So they may do very minor changes to the Citizenship Act regarding repeal of citizenship in case of crime and terrorism, but I think that's pretty usual to many citizenship systems. So overall, dual citizenship after is okay, and naturalization after 5 years is most likely to stay. Um, in terms of border policy, we will see more strict border controls. Very likely, it's already happening a lot on the German borders, even though we actually are part of the Schengen area, which is a European free travel zone, basically. But the reality is, due to the amount of humanitarian migrants coming into Europe, border controls have already become somewhat of a norm. This is going to increase. It does not necessarily mean we will go back to the pre-Schengen area times where each state defended its own borders in Europe. It's just a thing to know. Borders will become more important moving forward, and there may be checks coming, which we, of course, as a business are also something. It's just good to know that this may be happening when you plan your European travels and workforce management.
All right, certainly some good news here with respect to that dual citizenship.
Yeah, absolutely.
And let's, hope that that stays open. So my final question, how can businesses best prepare for what's ahead in Germany?
So first, we need to live with a bit of uncertainty for the next couple of months. It will take its time before the new government comes in and really comes forward with a confirmed new immigration migration policy. But I would be surprised if we see changes more than 10 to 20% to what I just described and what is already in the initial memo. So observe the situation and make sure you get the updates, especially when it comes to the changes in the immigration processing. At the same time, there's going to be changes not only on the borders, but also when it comes to the overall approach to humanitarian migration and what is sometimes referred to as irregular migration. This has some midterm to long-term business impact as well, because we will certainly more and more see that scrutiny of anything immigration by the authorities will go up, not down. And this will also trickle down into labor migration, and it also affects businesses, of course. So it becomes even more important now to make sure you have very robust processes of who comes into your doors as an employee, as an assignee. Do they have the right to work? Do they have proper documentation? And again, in Europe, very important, are they allowed and can they confirm by the proper document they're allowed to cross borders and do business and business trips in other European countries? So just be aware, compliance becomes all the more important.
Yeah, thank you, Marius. This has been incredibly informative. Please keep us posted as to the new immigration rules as they're enacted. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And